everybody that's listening on one of the 20 radio stations. We greatly appreciate you. We're going to keep bringing these great interviews of these great people to you, and we hope that you continue to listen. For people on the podcasting sites, like, subscribe, share. Please do that so we can keep growing. We're growing on every platform. We're going to hope to continue to do that, God willing, with your help. We have Dr. Cloé Couturier here on Fire Breathing Rob. It's her websites are, and I'm going to give you both of them. We'll put this in the description box regardless, as far as that goes. On the podcasting, on the radio, we will, this is more for them, I guess I should say. It's CloeCouturIer.com. And then one more website for my listeners on the radio too. It's CRANIalQIGONG.com. Woo! That was a heck of a time for me, but we made it through. And Dr. Cloé's always a pleasure to have you on here. I'm grateful that you came on here because you have a lot of knowledge you need to bring to people. And we're going to talk a lot about healthcare issues in general and many other issues. But Dr. Cloé, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Norbert. Appreciate it.
And I want to talk quickly about the book. First of all, before we get into many different things on this interview in general, the book is Pathway to Consciousness Power. Definitely check that book out. Amazon, you can go to one of the websites and look into it also, but definitely check out the book. We're going to talk about the book and many other things throughout this interview. I want you to tell the audience, Dr. Cloé, a little bit about yourself as we start off this conversation.
Yeah, I'm a healthcare practitioner. I just was awarded a very major award that has really been shifting me in a big way. I was awarded the Medical Qigong Master of the Year 2023 by the 23rd World Congress on Integrative Health and Healing. And this is the first time that this Congress, the 23rd World Congress, is actually now renaming itself as the World Congress on Health. Yeah? Because before it was Qigong and Chinese energetic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. And it's integrative as well. So this is really what I am. I have been focusing on my life and my practice as the practitioner on good health. And before fixing, which is a definition of good health. And so what I've been looking for is ways to techniques and principles and parts of what's available to mankind to support good health and to promote good health and well-being. And that's really integrative health. And that's my signature. And so I am an osteopath. I trained as an osteopath in Europe. And I'm also a medical Qigong doctor from China and from the US. And I'm also energy healing practitioner in a clinical Qigong division and a cranial sacral diplomate. So those are the tools that I have found the most powerful and important to promote health and good health, that is.
So Qigong, if I'm correct, is Chinese energetic medicine?
That's correct, yes.
And can you go a little bit deeper into that for people that don't really know what that means that are listening in?
Yes. So right away, I'm going to send you to nqa.org, National Qigong Association.org, because it will give you a lot of good, valid information, as well as qigonginstitute.org. I'm also on the board of directors of NQA. And so this is the national association in America for Qigong. And it's a great, great resource of information. It's basically a practice. We call that a revered practice because it's a transmission from master to student for thousands of years. And so it is revered in a sense that it's precious because it has passed a test of time. And the test of time validates the Qigong over the years, which science continues to put into evidence, the validity of medical of Qigong, not just clinical Qigong, just Qigong for health and well-being. So it's one of the treasures from China, and in China, the medical Qigong doctors, the clinician, the one who heal with Qigong, are considered the highest in the hierarchy of, of people in China, basically, because they are the healers, and they heal naturally, and they, it's Qi, so it's more than just healing naturally, it's also empowering the person with a practice that they can do on their own to get to access greater energy, to have full access to maximum energy in their lives and for the health.
I want to go into this because I know your son had a big influence on you getting into this field. Can you talk about him and then go into how he influenced you to get into this practice?
Yes. Thank you for asking, Robert.
Sure.
This is really the key of how I became the person that I am, is that when he was diagnosed, it was just short of being 4 years old. And we had noticed that, especially after my daughter, who was thriving and just 2 years older than him, that he was not, mentally was totally well, but physically there was something that not quite right. And so at that point, we knew that there was something wrong. We went to look for doctors, the best doctors, Miami Children's Hospital, to find out what's going on with our child. There's something not quite right. After 3.5 years, he's still walking, but falls and cannot really go up stairs on his own. It's just kind of, there were issues in his motor activities, and he was diagnosed then with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And Duchenne muscular dystrophy is known in America, was known anyway, as the Jerry's kids, the telethon, and all this, focus on helping the kids. And so the kids, basically, because they don't grow up to be adult. So it's a diagnosis that's one of the most severe diagnoses as muscular dystrophies, because there's a lot of different muscular dystrophies. But this is a worst case scenario because it takes the children, they don't live very long. So that's what we were told. We were told when Dorian, his name is Dorian, was 4 years old, that he was not going to live to be a teenager, or he would not live to be an adult. And so, and that there was nothing that medical Western modern medicine could offer us. There was nothing. And so that was a very difficult diagnosis, to handle. A situation where it's like, what? You're telling me my son is not going to live very long and there's nothing I can do about this? I don't believe this. I believe there's something we can do, and I'm going to find it. And so, and that's pretty much how I got to all of this. And I'm glad I did, because we did turn his life around, and he got to live to be almost the same age as Jesus lived.
Yeah.
I just had an interview just recently with Carissa Sims, and she was not realizing that Jesus, didn't live a very long life either. He lived to be 33.
Right.
And Dorian got to live just to be 32. So it's not so much, about, but that's another subject. I just want to answer your question. And how it transformed me is that, I got to study from some important masters who came to work with me, who really just, helped me with my son, with Dorian, to transform his life completely. So that's really what it's about.
And I believe on the cover of the book, it's your hand in his hand, correct?
Yes. Thank you for remembering that. That's very important to me
Right.
because it was in those fair that you do a cast,
Yes.
and play, and you say, sure, let's do that. And it was, in his teenage years when we did that. And so when it came to, finding a picture for my book, I was like, wow, that would be awesome to take, his hand in my hand, because it's exactly the path of my life with him that is opening up the path for many others in my life within my hands. And I've treated over a period of 3 decades, so that's really the fruit of all of this that I have manifested and being his mother.
I want to talk about Chinese medicine just quickly, Dr. Chloe, because, as a person like me that uh, we can't talk about the issues I have because they'll be censored. I think you kind of maybe can come to conclusion of what that's about because there's been censorship on those medical issues the past 3 years. But regardless of that, I've come to see that the American healthcare system is terrible. It is good for some things, but Western medicine in general is not good for the majority of things. It's only a very small group of things where it's very good for. Whereas Chinese medicine and other alternative paths towards a recovery, I feel like, in my opinion, are better. Why do you feel like that's the case? Or do you feel like if that's the case? I feel like you do in general.
Right. Because health is it is a process, and
Right.
health is it's a relationship. It's a discipline, and this is fairly new, and that people are understanding this. But
Yeah.
before it was like, if you have you go see the doctor, but if you go see the doctor, that means you have something that's been happening already for a long time. And it hasn't been dealt with because there was no one to really follow up with that. With Chinese energetic medicine, we treat as we go. We give the tools and for self-health and self-care and self-healing, especially with Qigong, as we go. And so we don't, drop into a state of ill, that we have to come back up to heal and to meet with medication or whatever, Western medicine uses. And health is something we follow, and good health is something we work with to enhance and to continue to build. That's a relationship. That's a discipline of Qigong, you see. So it's a practice that you do on a regular basis, hopefully every day, with the Qigong practice, to enhance your Qi, to enhance your vitality, to enhance your sense of being in your center, in your cells and yourself, and versus just not being fully occupying your space. And so there's so many dimensions to that, which is that's why it's so exciting today, because the consciousness is open to that. Because
Yeah.
before COVID, I would say COVID was a turning point. Before that, the elder population was really not open. I'm talking about the doctors also, and the global consciousness. They were not
Mm.
open to understand the preciousness of those teachings and the importance of them, because all the focus was on Western model medicine, and then what do they have to offer? And I'm not saying that's not good in case of emergency. If you
Right.
have a
Yeah.
hemorrhage, a broken bone, if you have a bug or something, you got to take care of it. I'm talking
Sure.
you know, um, a biome, antibiotic for not a virus exactly. I'm not talking about virus. I'm talking about a what you can call that, an infection with which something is not a virus, a macro. What I'm talking about. So that's a different story. Yes, you go see a doctor because of that, but
Right.
most of the time if we take care of our health and we follow, if we're a little bit slightly off or slightly out of balance, so we're going to bring it back in balance. There's so many aspects of health that we're just learning to understand and to develop, because it's not just the physical health, it's the mental health, it's the emotional health, right? It's the spiritual health. It's all of it, isn't it?
It is really all of it. And you have to get to the root of the cause to see really what's going on in your body. And you can't just take a pill to solve those issues. You have to look at your whole lifestyle. That's one thing they don't teach in Western medicine, which people like you and other people do look at to solve these medical issues. So, that's something that I've learned very much differently than I used to think. I used to think of, we go to the doctors for this, that, and the other thing. Now you have to kind of look at your whole lifestyle, what you eat. Do you work out? Is there stress in your life? Do you sleep? I'm not going to go down everything, the story in general, because you work on this, Dr. Cloé. But I do want to move into this. So what type of issues do you take care of when you see people in general? Medical issues.
Because I'm an osteopath, which is really structure and function interrelated. I am very good at treating orthopedics issues, and this is one of my specialties. But I'm also trained in the visceral manipulation, and Qigong is also addressing, which means organs, viscera and the organs. Each system in the body is ruled by one organ. But it's not just one organ, because it is a yin and a yang organ. And so it is the positive and negative, or the yin and the yang, which is the polarity. And this is really the exciting part also, is to get functional. So a structure function. So I'm really good at helping a person get back to health. I don't even like to focus on symptoms, because the symptoms is what Western medicine focuses on. And so the symptoms are already we call qi deviation, versus righteous qi. When the body is, that's Chinese energetic medicine, qigong, etc. When the qi is in a proper pathways, we refer to this as righteous qi. When the qi is not in the right place, we call that qi deviation. Okay, so if the state of non-health would be an onset of qi deviation, when the body starts to go in an off route. Okay, let's go back to the orthopedic aspect of it, because it's easier to understand. Let's say that there's a foot problem, okay, that start to emerge, and the foot problem is not dealt with completely properly. Then the body is going to compensate, and the ankle, the knee, the hip, and it's going to go into the spine, and it could very well affect an organ in the process of just, the deviation going. We don't know how far it can go, over, on the neck or cervical, and creating some headache, or, so we don't want to focus on symptoms, like you were saying. We got to go to the root cause. That's exactly what it's about. And then in the process of addressing the foot that had the problem, then everything kind of goes back in place, and then there is no more effect into the neck, or the migraines, or the organ, that was also compromised in this chain of action reaction. So I like to treat people have like who will tell me that they have depression, anxiety, lack of energy. Just practice qigong, and all this starts to change, because then you're putting the energy back into your body properly. It goes back to like when you don't have enough air in your tires. How does it feel when you drive your car with not enough air in your tires? You're going to feel it. It doesn't feel right? You're going to put more air in your tire so that you feel that your car is driving properly. So you see what I mean? Then you feel like your car is driving off. And And if it's not, if you don't address it at some point, well, you're going to either blow a tire or you're going to affect, the torque, the structure of your car, because you get a torque in your structure, right? That's the same thing, right? If you don't,
Yeah.
the way the alignment is important, the symmetry
Right.
is important, how we use the body properly. This is all part of good health.
I agree 100%. I think people need to look into these alternative medicines, alternative ways of health, alternative practitioners in general, because I think that's the best way to go about. We saw what happened the past 3 years going through the Western system, and it's a joke, and it was disgusting. Uh, just my opinions there. I let it all out. I let it hang. We'll move forward. I want to get into the book as we end the interview. If you could just talk about the pathway to consciousness power and just give us a little bit of a synopsis on that book and why you wrote it.
Because it's the story of how I got to the work that I'm doing, and it's full of beautiful stories. Okay, real stories of a, I've been doing this work for 3 decades,
Right.
and successfully, because the success stories that I have doing this work is what really prompted me to write the book, and also honoring my son Dorian, because it's because of his life, and he passed at 32, just a few days before 32, and he was healthy. He was healthy because he never had needs for medication. He was not an ill person. And see, he was never ill.
Yeah.
He had muscular dystrophy doesn't mean it's an illness. So it's redefining health. He was one of the healthiest people that I knew, actually.
Wow.
He graduated from college, magna cum laude, at 21 years old from Florida Atlantic University. His peers, his friends, didn't graduate from college so early, if they did. And he lived his life on his own. He was a very happy, healthy, funny guy. He never felt sorry about himself, ever, because there was nothing to feel sorry about. He was totally empowered. He lived the maximum life that he could ever lived, you see. And that's the story that I want to emphasize. It's like, one thing that he really didn't like is to have people feel sorry for him. So what do you feel sorry? I mean, I'm a great life, so I'm a wheelchair, so what? It doesn't stop me from doing my life and having a good life. I mean, when he was living independently, of course I was, like nearby every time he needed, but I wanted him in his own. That for me, that's a success of his life. Then he would be living his own life, not, being, with mommy and daddy, or, what I mean, and just like totally like protected. No, he lived his own life. And that's what I want to bring into the book. And the understanding of people to understand and redefining the consciousness power. That's what it's all about. Because when you develop that consciousness, understanding what's really important in life, what's value, and is it moving furniture to have big muscles to move furniture, or is it just having a happy, healthy life, and very rich life with people around you that love you, and being just transforming, and that's what it's big. So I wrote, and also because I developed a new form of healing in the process of bringing 2 modalities, which is the blending of Eastern with Western medicine. Can I continue with this? Thank you. Because it's really what it's about. It's the merging of Eastern, Chinese energetic medicine, Qigong, with what I found the most evolved form of Western medicine on the planet, which is an offshoot and an evolution of osteopathy. And osteopathy was the beginning of the merging of Eastern with Western medicine, because it's holistic medicine from the Western model of medicine, craniosacral and cranium that encompasses the brain, and sacrum, which is the base of the spine. So the craniosacral system is really the core link intelligence. That's the brain and spinal cord.
Mm-hmm.
And the meninges, the dry matter, and the cerebral spinal fluid, you see? And there's potency in the center here. That's where the Eastern and Western medicine really meet. And that's really what my work is about, because I believe I have, by bringing the two, I have surpassed the craniosacral people, whether it's by dynamic or osteopathy or therapy, whatever craniosacral you see. I think, well, it's not I think, I know, I've proven it. My book is the proof, it's the scientific evidence that when you bring together, you have a new form of integrative. It's not even alternate, it's integrative. Now it's official.
Mm-hmm.
We have a law to support integrative health and integrative wellness and integrative care and integrative medicine. Whether you call it clinical or medical, doesn't matter. The point is that those tools will help you stay in good health, maximize your good health so that you maintain a good health your whole life and you don't have to succumb to illness.
I agree 100%. I know we're winding down to the last question, Liz, because this is winding down towards the end of the Zoom. But regardless of that, I think a lot of people learned a lot of information, and we'll definitely do this again. But I do want you to end the interview where more people can find more about you. We did give out the websites earlier on. If you want to give out those again. Also, if you have any kind of social media presence, Dr. Cloé, that you want people to follow you on that, and obviously where they can get the book and find more about the book in general.
Yeah, thank you. You can get the book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's also available at the Harvard bookstore.
Oh.
And Harvard bookstore doesn't just take any kind of book. And it's also on the QiGongInstitute.org, you see, so that's a merging of Eastern with Western medicine right there, Harvard and QiGongInstitute.org, so you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, all of them pretty much.
Okay. And what is it? What is the Instagram and Facebook handle? Is it Dr. Cloé or?
Cloé Couturier, just Cloé
Couturier. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thank you, Doc. And I hope to have you on again because we need to have people on that agree with this type of way to support your life because
I agree, but enhance it.
Right. Yes. Yes, I agree. That's a good point.
Because that's medical Qigong Doctor of the Year does.
Right. Yeah, no. And you won that big award.
Right.
And I think if people want to learn something, they should go to the person that is the top dog, the top person, and that's you. And that's why we'll definitely bring you on again, because I think we need to get more people to hear what you have to bring to the table on this. But thank you so much, Doc, and I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank you so much, Robert, for giving us this voice.
Yeah.
We really appreciate your support. Thank you.